Okay, you guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jeneth Blackert.
And I'm Leonka Reyna.
And this is the Hout Hustle Morning Show. Today we're talking with Holly Hallowell, and we are talking about assisting frequencies, neuro-manifesting, and some of the Anahata codes. If we go that far and that deep in this conversation, I think we might be going a little bit in a lot of different directions. It'll be fun.
Yes, for sure.
Fun. Uh, Before we get started, I wanted to share, this is kind of a vulnerable share, but
I love it. I love it. This is what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
Is this Morning Brew with Woo?
Yes, this is officially my morning brew with Woo. For the women out there that are over the age of 45 and you have, quote, dense breast tissue. I wanted to share, I had an older friend in my early 40s that had to have a mastectomy. And after she did all this research in the health area about how to get rid of dense breast tissue. Now, this may seem unrelated to our conversation, but sometimes the universe goes around with really cool frequencies. And I feel that this woman has saved me from a life of having to have breast biopsies and other things like that.
No, it's important.
And I was talking with Leonka about it, and she said, we need to share these kind of things.
On the show. Yes, definitely.
And I thought, well, it's not really 5D stuff, but I do think it could help a lot of women out there. And one of the big things that she told me was to take DHEA. This is a vitamin you can get on Amazon, and to take iodine, which is a supplement that I was like, it can't hurt. And I went and just got my mammogram results, and I was almost in tears because it says that there is no evidence of any dense tissue.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
And I've had that my whole life.
Well, and it's funny because my friend Orna, who was on the show that I talk to all the time, she's like, everyone I know has that.
Yeah.
And I now no longer have it, but I had it in, 2017. So I feel like maybe I've had both a biological upgrade in the 5D.
Yeah.
And I have also, had things in the real world that might have contributed
too. I think, I think it's a combination of all.
It could have been that taking this just changed my mindset. And I was like, okay, I'm changing this. So I felt that it was due to be said. And if you want more details about it, feel free to email us here at team@HoutHustle, because, she gave me like 5 or 6 things that I took for a while, and then I kind of didn't notice changes, but I kept taking the drops.
Did you get this one from Amazon, the drops?
No, well, this can be bought on Amazon, but I got it at just one of like Whole Foods or something.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. I think it's important.
I thought it was just like, I just love you guys. And if there's like little tiny tricks like that,
yes, because you don't find these tricks anywhere else, right? Like and I said, gosh, at least can do a public service where if it's helping us, great. I mean, we're not, trying to pretend to be doctors here or anything, but it's definitely, what are some of those insider
tips?
Right. So that can help each other out. So there we go. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for telling me to share it, because I felt like it wasn't something I'd normally share on the show, and now it's going to be, because I do feel like it's like, this is like girl to girl gossip stuff. We might as well bring in the girl to girl gossip on the Hout Hustle.
That's right. Well, in other news and mystic space weather news,
great.
I was reading through some information, and there's a geophysicist that does some stuff on YouTube, and how I'm always sharing about how we are in a solar maximum and how it's important and how it changes our bodies and physiologically. And one of the things that's going on right now is that we have a large stream of charged photons that are coming to the Earth because there's a large, massive coronal hole that is Earth facing. This is the same coronal hole that was Earth facing in April when we had that very large earthquake. And so right now we're in that time. So as of April 22nd, that coronal hole is now facing Earth again. And so we just saw another earthquake, 6.1 in, don't quote me, but basically what they're saying is that in certain regions where this charged particles are, where this amount of energy is being streamed from the sun. Now this massive coronal hole is large enough to fit like 7 Jupiters inside the hole alone, right? So that just kind of gives you that magnitude. And it's just this huge stream. And remember, a huge stream of what? Photons, light, energy. Of course, we're being changed by that. If the Earth is experiencing it and shaking its stuff up and moving in the subduction zones, then our physiological bodies are also experiencing this. And if you subscribe to the Ascension movement and the symptoms of that, I'm always telling you the same things. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because we are in a solar maximum, and right now we're getting the solar maximum of energy streamed to us. So just wanted to give you heads up. What are those things that I always tell you? Ground, right? Ground yourself, drink water, and give yourself grace. So that's what I got from Mystic Space Weather News.
Fabulous. Well, let's go ahead and bring Holly up. And let me pin. Yes. Hello. You are muted.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, hello, beautifuls. I'm so glad to be here on your amazing show and with your tribe. And certainly no coincidence on the iodine. I just started actually supplementing with iodine in water about a month ago.
Wow. Perfect timing on the conversation.
Interesting.
I love this. Well, I'm excited to hear.
Yeah, and I'm sure it all ties together in one way or another. Absolutely.
I feel like if we're called to say something, we need to say it these days. Yeah. Everything comes up for a reason if you're following the flow.
For sure. And I mean, the breasts are really tied to that nurturing, giving vibration anyway. So that is your cha-ching frequency as well,
Love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, let's dive right in, because I have been so curious and eager to have this conversation with you since the first time we talked on the pre-call. And you have some really exciting things to share about water and about frequencies and really how we can create change. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be juicy, because I have been really curious.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you remember, but we did a show together almost right after my father died in 2017. And I couldn't really be present for it. And you were like blowing my mind over and over and over again. I just feel like you look at things in such a unique and different way. Why don't, for the audience that doesn't know you, do you want to start with a little bit of your background? Just kind of give us a little nugget of why you're doing this work now.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, Jennifer, I didn't even know that was going on. Did you tell me? I don't even think you did.
I might not have, because I just wanted to be professional and move forward.
Yeah, wow. So gosh, that was 8 years ago. And boy, my work is, I feel like I'm a perpetual student, because I always want to never be done improving myself. And so I've been really getting into neuroplasticity lately. And by the way, if you haven't grabbed a glass of water, you may want to grab one for this session, because really that's my life's work. I was busy fixing myself. I had a invention stolen. My shit was hitting the fan, and the crisis story, big tower moments in all areas of my life. And I just said, you know what? I'm done hustling. I'm going to just surrender. God, tell me what I need to know. And it was through that prayer, that asking, with the vibration of my voice aligned with, hey, look, I'm going to get out of my own way, that I was given this beautiful piece of information. And God basically said, non-religion, creator, goddess, whatever you want to say, fill in the blank. I'm a non-denominational Christian, but God basically showed me that we live in an illusion. We are in this matrix of separation, internal, external, but we actually, not spiritually or hypothetically, or, we are one. We are all busy looking through our eyes. We are creating our life ahead of the curve. And, when I first started talking about assisting frequencies, people's eyes would glaze over. Nowadays, people are like, oh, yeah, I know what that is. They just know innately that there is this prevalent source energy that's pulsing through all of us, that's uniting us, and that connects us all, and that the storylines that are playing out are really distortions of illusion through perspective of individuality, and that we really are one. And through that remembrance, I started channeling codes, the Anahata Codes, which basically help you remember the thing that you think you don't have access to anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really think that all healing is a return to the memory of wholeness. And since we are already whole, we don't need to feel like we're coming from a space of something's wrong or missing.
Yes.
It's resonance remembrance. It's going, oh, it's the whole, you can be in to me, by me, through me, or as me. And as me is really where I strive to help people remember that they can be ongoing. And it's a very somatic, rooted thing. Spirituality is always somewhere out there, up there, and it's like, we are here in the 3D.
Yeah.
You need to anchor in, and I call it rooted and rising, right?
Yes.
Really being, and that's where I get into the money conversation, because so many people have taken this oath of, thinking that somehow wealth isn't spiritual. And that's the reason why that doesn't feel good, is because it's not true at all.
Yes. I'm so glad that you were saying this and saying this loudly. One person that I follow, he said, being woke doesn't mean broke. I just thought it was funny like that, because of course the woke is
true.
yeah. And there's so many times where you see the monk that is in spirituality, or has really, everybody's given up all their possessions. Not that possessions mean anything. What it is that money doesn't necessarily have to mean that I'm centered or that I'm not centered. One of the two. We've made so much be so real about all of that. And we've seen it throughout history in the movies and stuff like that too, right?
Oh, for sure. It's wild, the stuff that they feed us. And it's almost like this valiant oath of lack to somehow have it be a virtue to be dirt poor. And it's like, no, that's not how it works.
No.
At all. So I use water, though, because most people, the block that I see the most, especially, and I don't really know your tribe, who they're made of, but I'm assuming since they're listening to you, they figured out that they're in some sort of matrix where they actually are the creator of their reality. Where they're trying to remember all these pieces that they've forgotten. And most likely they are going to feel a calling to then share what they've learned. At least I attract coaches, healers, light workers, people who are really creators, who are rippling this information forward. And I really empower all my students to join hands. And, my modality is your modality, is our modality. And there is no competition. We are all raising the collective vibration together out of these scarcity loops, these inherited money beliefs, these fears of being seen, of fears of being rejected, and all of that programming that is BS. It's belief structures. But the thing is all these modalities that address it are really heavily rooted in the brain, which does have water. It's 90% water molecularly, but it's really the water of your body. That's where your vibration lives, right? So your conscious mind can say, I'm ready to receive, but your cells are still humming this story of, but it's going to be hard, or perhaps it's not safe to be seen, or I will be labeled as fill in the blank if I charge. or what if someone says no? And this disconnection really creates this energetic friction. And so the wealth that is yours innately bounces away from you. And so you can have all the affirmations you want until you shift your resonance, which I believe is held in the water of your body, which is unlike anything else that people are doing right now. And just FYI, to zoom out, water is a holographic record keeper of your identity.
Nice.
So, that's what we're working with on a molecular level. It is when you have a short-term memory and your brain's deciding, should this go to long-term? It doesn't go into a specific part of your brain. It goes into the memory of your body, that vibrational imprint of your beliefs, your emotions, your traumas, your expectations, your identity. The things you file away in there, whether or not they're true, are true for you. That's why I always say your truth is your truth and it's true, but do you want it to be? So when it comes to money, if your body's water is still holding on to scarcity, fears of rejection, deep-rooted guilt even, about, receiving. And even if your mind is saying, I'm ready for wealth, your field is saying, I'm not safe to receive. So you've got to reprogram that if you have. And so my life's work has evolved into not only helping light workers, healers, way showers to express their divine path and their genius zone, I call it, but also to claim their wealth, to reclaim their wealth.
Yes.
And I call it the cha-ching frequency.
I like it.
Because cha-ching, you get triggered by that. And I love that. It's like, if I said cha-ching to you, what would you automatically think?
Money.
Does it feel good? And if it doesn't feel good, why doesn't it feel good?
Interesting.
Yeah, because then you have a point of view about it.
Yes. It depends on who I'm with. Oh, that's creepy.
It's funny. A lot of this conversation is about people just feel wrong in every single way. I was sharing with Leonka, like I wanted to do this procedure and it was thousands of dollars. And I was like, but I can't share it on the show because there was this like wrongness. Like I didn't want to tell anybody. And she looks at me like, come on, we tell them like everything. It's like, you can't do it without talking about it. And I feel that level of play and vulnerability with money, where I even have to look at my own wrongness around it, you really can change a lot of people's lives because it probably isn't just mine. So I love where you're going with this. And I love that we play with water. Such a little water baby.
Yeah, me too. It's actually, got the mermaid, everything.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I'm a triple Pisces. So I have my sun, moon, and Mercury all in Pisces. So thank God I have Taurus in Saturn so that I can root my ideas into the 3D, because otherwise I'd be up in some cave.
Right?
Yeah, I feel you.
Well, I mean, with working with the water and the body, how might we go about shifting and moving out of some of these scarcity paradigms?
Well, I think it's funny because people don't realize that the water of their body is what makes them 99.9% of you. And we're all focused like anatomy, and science class and all that. It's always the thing. But it's sort of like the fractal. If you look at a shape, you're looking at the shape. But what makes up that shape? It's the empty space. So for us, it's like we're looking at things, but we are water. We are that holograph. And so when we have memories stored and beliefs stored in that water, I'm not joking when I say we have biochemical addictions to our drama. And this is where also it can be, I'm addicted to hustle. This is one of the most interesting, because I love that you guys have the word hustle in your brand name, because I really know that you are here to soften that word. Just like for me, I'm here to soften the word placebo and not make that because people ask me all the time, is this placebo? And I'm like, let's think about this. You believe something to the core of your being without the need of anything else. And your brain and your hormones create this miraculous harmonious stream that can reverse and eliminate any issue you had. And that's placebo. We don't want that. Like, oh, bring on the placebo. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is why Joe Dispenza wrote the placebo effect.
I'm like, huh, which
Bring
one would I
on the
rather have?
placebo,
Yes.
right?
So
love
with
it.
you guys and the hustle
Yep.
reframe, I
Yep.
love that, because hustling shouldn't be this hard. It should feel different. It should feel softer. And the one thing that I realize with hustle is the way that it's encoded in our nervous system as a stress response. When we get addicted to that, here's this is going to blow your mind. Maybe it blew my mind when I realized this. I was like, oh my God, because a lot of what I've done in the past reflects this as well. That you suddenly, so you're working hard, right? It's by me. I can do this. I gotta, put on my big girl panties and buck up and
Yeah.
get this done. And as I do that, I'm hustling. What happens is it's fight or flight. We have this, oh my God, I've got to rise up. If I don't, I'm screwed. Whatever it is. So we have stress. And then we
Yep.
say, okay, I'm up for the challenge. Why? Because most of us are kick-ass human beings. And we're like, no, I'm going to do this. I can figure it out. And then what happens is when we do figure it out, because God always has a plan and we do figure it out, there's always enough. We do figure it out, nothing is too great for us to overcome. We get this dopamine hit of, see, I did it. And that becomes our identity of this water that's stored, where we actually feel like hustle is safety. So hustle is worth. Hustle is like somehow you've got to have this drama, but things can be easy. We don't need
It
that.
could be energetic flow. It could be a movement. It could be through collaboration, its own inertia, right? A dance, because do the hustle. But but we have so much energetic charge that we have attached to it, and generally that has been associated with the stress hormone as well. Yep,
Yeah,
addiction,
sure.
totally.
Yeah, dopamine addiction, serotonin addiction.
I'm guilty.
I
For
know.
years.
It was funny the other day. I was like, I was like thinking I am successful already, right? And I was like, well, even that is like all 3D. Like that is defined by the 3D. I mean, it can also be a frequency in the way that you put it, but it's still kind of a tight word. And I think it's really interesting in this conversation because you're like, bring on the placebo.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, because that is what we have here when we are outside of the matrix.
Yeah. That's the magic. It's powerful. But look how we combined it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that
Crazy.
invisible wall we feel between where we want to be and where we are, that is the pushing past your comfort zone that I've really been getting into with water, because I was like, okay, people were having having amazing results with Anahata Codes, infusing them into water. But since I was helping, coaches and other light workers specifically, and people who are on a mission, inevitably they kept hitting this sort of wall, if you will. And I'm like, what is this invisible wall?
Sure.
Whether it's self-sabotage, mindset blocks, whatever. And when I really started peeling back the layers of neuroplasticity, because that is the water of your brain and how it fires and wires and what's happening in quantum biology and energy psychology and all these things, I realized, okay, that wall is really an energetic identity edge. So it's like, this is me, this is my reality, and what's outside of that is not me. It's, and so it becomes really illusionary as to, you got to get ahead of the curve to realize, if I want, and it sounds so cliche, if I want something, I have to become it beforehand, right?
Yes.
Because the holographic record keeper that's in your body, the water, if you don't believe yourself to have wealth, this is why affirmations don't work. If you're like, I'm wealthy, and you're not, you're calling BS on yourself the whole time.
Right.
you got to affirm things you truly believe. And if you don't believe them, you got to ease your way into some sort of stepping stone towards belief that's going to behoove you, because your vibes don't lie. You can't gaslight yourself on a molecular level. So you just can't. So then I started figuring out, oh, I can cherry pick all of the coolest things and put them into one, which is I call it the flow state technique. But it's really body, breath, nervous system, water, so that you literally rewrite your story at a cellular level. And then because you don't get what, people are always bad mouthing law of attraction. Oh, well, I didn't ask for this. But you don't get what you're asking for. You get what you're asking for. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
So,
That's a good way to put
get
it.
who we are.
Yep.
And so in order to shift that identity energetically, you got to shift the entire field. And when you shift the field, what becomes available to you is that reflection. And so this is probably why everyone always says, start with really, truly loving yourself, and all of that. But it does start within and ripples out, so to speak. But yeah, really interesting stuff. That holographic record keeper, you can't lie to yourself. You have to truly believe that you're worthy, that and the line in a way where your future memories, this is so funny, I always dream big, but desensitize yourself from the future you want. Meaning, when you dream of where you want to be in 5 years, it should not be like, holy crap, if that happened, it would be wild. You're holding yourself apart. It's got to become so familiar to you that it's the natural next step.
Yep.
Kind of like if you dream to live off grid in Costa Rica on a farm, the day you get the deed to that land and you plant your first mango tree, you're not going to go, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. It's going to feel normal, natural. And so we've got to bridge that gap between somewhere out there being scary and in our sympathetic nervous system into the rest, digest, it feels like me, parasympathetic. So it really is, this work that I'm doing is a nervous system, wealth lives in your nervous system.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It really does. So yeah. And
Oh my
abundance
goodness.
doesn't live in adrenaline. Because think about that.
No, well, adrenaline would be those moments when your brain waves are in these like high beta state, and when you're in that state anyway, you can't get any word in edgewise from any angels or anything. So that makes total sense. So let's talk about the process in shifting to more of these and being in more places of these frequencies where we actually can have more of those placebo effect moments.
Yeah, so I have, this has been a staple. I can't believe 10 years, a week ago, 10 years ago, I started my company. So it's been a decade.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my gosh. And
Happy
I had
anniversary.
this, what did you say?
I said, happy anniversary, happy 10-year.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And it's been like this,
Yeah, celebration.
it has.
Yeah.
But I'm that's okay. Like it's the journey
Yes.
getting there
Yes.
is the ride. And I wouldn't
Yes.
have wanted it any other way.
Nice.
I mean, I'm just getting started. I feel like, first of all, to get where you want to be, you need to have a why that's so strong. That's why you get up in the morning. And it's ironic because you do it anyway, because it's your hobby, but you just happen to get paid for it.
Love it.
That's what I really want people to figure out is, what is my genius zone? What am I good at? What does the world need? What do I love doing? And this is the fourth component, which most people leave out, is, can I get paid for it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got to get paid for it.
Yes.
And then you can set up the nonprofit and do whatever the heck you want with money. But yeah, so there's 4 A's of Anahata, I call it. And by the way, the Anahata is the heart chakra. So I go by Anahata not as a name, but more as like a namaste sort of energy. When you say Anahata, you're just like, oh, something shifting in me. And Anahata in Sanskrit means unstruck, the eternal So this is the source vibration that will never be destroyed, nor was it ever created. It's just pervasive.
Mhm.
So it's this, and it's from where we came and where we will go and who we are. And so Anahata, you're just like, okay, something is out of my brain and into my heart space, into my body. And so the 4 A's to get anything you want in life, doesn't matter what it is. You ask, you align, you activate, and you allow. Ask,
Mhm.
align, activate, allow. And I'm going to get a tattoo. I keep saying it, but I end up doing it. That's all. Repeat. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So you're asking in multiple ways, not just with your mind, not just writing down goals, not just speaking, your creativity into existence, but you're asking with the water of your body. You ask. And if you don't have what you need to ask properly, the skills, all of these things, just go get them or hire someone to help you get them or hire someone to just do it or install an assisting frequency. That's what it's for.
Right.
If you're missing something, you forgot that you're already connected to it. And there's ways to reintegrate and activate the assistance. So you're aligning. You do need to put yourself in bandwidth to hear the answers. You can't sit on your ass all day and just meditate. Like, we can't be somewhere out there. We need to be asking, then aligning, putting
And
ourselves.
let me just put this in.
Yeah.
This sounds so much like my whisper mapping, but the ask can often be a question. Like, I feel that some people bypass that. They're kind of in the space where I desire this. It's about me. And sometimes if you open the door for some questions that are really a spacious question, then you really can ask from a place where it's not about you, but it's the whole universe, and you're asking for the universe. And there's so many different places to ask from, right? You can ask from your limited self, or you can ask from your higher self. You can ask as the universe, you can ask for the earth, right? And I think that when when people think ask, and I just wanted to kind of give this a little more space and multidimensionality, but I feel that sometimes an ask is sort of like, hey, God, I would like this thing, right? Send me the red BMW.
Yeah.
Right. We're not giving the universe enough space to
operate.
Right.
And so you've looped around to the last one, which is allow, because
Exactly.
oftentimes the version of reality that's coming at you, you're like, it doesn't match my list. I'm not going to see it. And it's like, dude, this is so much better. Get out of your own way.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But to your point about the asking, the question I asked to receive my divine download was, what do you need me to know? What do you need me to know? It was a question.
Yeah.
And so it is. And actually, my license plate, without giving too much away, is Q&A, question and answer. When you ask, you receive.
Yeah.
And it's in the asking that you do receive the answers. And also, my daughter's name starts with a Q, and I'm Anahata, so Q&A, Quaid and Anahata. But anyway, the whole asking is also really the key to believing in your affirmations as well, because and I think they're called affirmations. And this is like neuroscience. This is like, instead of saying, I am wealthy, you could say, how am I so wealthy? And your body doesn't resist that. Your brain goes, how am I, like, let's figure this out.
Hunting down the answer
It's going to show
figure
you.
it out.
Yeah. And then immediately a whole bunch of different things started popping into my mind. Well, you're wealthy like this. You're wealthy like this.
Right.
And I was like, oh, yay.
And you've got to be careful, because some of those are then justifications.
Sure. Absolutely.
You're trying to prove it to yourself.
Yeah. Well,
which could also trap you in other ways.
Yes.
But yes, we love it. I love it.
Yeah, I do have an abundance of wealth in my family. Like, I have love of my family, or it's just feeling it out. But yes, it does feel so much more expansive, and it doesn't feel like that immediate lie. That you're telling yourself, or you're like, it doesn't shut it down.
Right. It's not like you're saying, I am a millionaire when you are not.
Yeah.
That's and you're trying to get it in your whole being and everything, and you're kind of like, nope, 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 nope. But if you're like, how am I a millionaire? You're like,
Oh,
well, I've got this house,
yeah.
you know,
True.
and you try to add it up. Yeah.
Exactly. So ask questions and, you know, and you do that somatically. It's so funny. Your angels are there to help you, but you have free will. So you have to
I do that all
ask.
the time.
And I always ask out loud. And
Mhm.
I always form it as well, most of the time form it as a question to keep it light and playful. And then
Mhm.
also the thing is we are so brainwashed into thinking we have to have the answers to even go out and tackle something. It's like, but I don't have the answers. I for sure will fail. We don't have the answers. That's the journey of life. The journey of life is to ask questions and find meaning. Like, what's the meaning of life? The meaning of life. Go find it. So, you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
it's the journey, and so we do need to ask. Align, activate is really. It's so crazy how many people say they want to do something and they don't take the steps to do it. And
Yeah.
nowadays, you have no excuse. You can go in Chat GPT and say, hey, I have this wild idea. How do I
Yep.
do it? It'll spit
Yeah.
out a
And you just have
6 month
to,
day by day plan.
Yeah,
yeah.
right?
And you just have to follow the dots.
And
I
just
love
do
it.
it. And
Right?
anytime there's resistance or thoughts, that don't serve you,
You can go
examine
back
those
to chat
thoughts.
go,
What'd you say?
and then you go back to chat GPT and go, can you help me with this? Can you coach me through it? Our new inner circle has a coach AI. And I've been on it a lot, just kind of going, how might I navigate this situation?
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I know. It's
All
very
right.
good too.
I love AI. People are, gloom and doom about it, but I feel like it's the tool to awaken us to our divinity, because AI has to be programmed to give the answers. It's never going to have some qualia about it. If you've ever heard of what qualia is, it's just like the infinite potential you have in any moment to do anything. Like you're never going to know what's going to come out of my mouth. That can't be programmed. And even I don't know. So there's no risk of some, AI eventually becoming, human.
Yeah.
It's just going to
It's
become,
a, it's a tool. It's a tool, but let's
yeah.
use it, because then we can
Yes.
stay in our genius zone more. We can
Yes.
really bounce things off, organize it, and stop doing the tedious bullshit that actually just sucks. Most people get into, being a healer or a coach or a light worker because they want to give back to people, only to find out they've got to do all of their accounting and their emails and this funnels and all this boring stuff that people are like, this is not what I want to do.
Right.
Use AI. I love
Yes.
AI. And I
Yes.
actually think that it's helping people to realize our connectivity to source through this mind-blowing intelligence that somehow has the answers. Yes, we all have the answers.
Yeah.
God it's in within every cell. And this is why I love water so much as well, because every single drop of water, I think it was Rumi who said, you are not a drop of water in the ocean, you're the entire ocean in a drop. Think about what water is. It's a hologram reflecting everything, and you cut it in half, it's still got the whole again and again and
Yes.
again down to so the water that's in us literally does have all the answers.
Mhm.
We just got to structure that, and furthermore, the water inside our body is not H2O, it's H3O2. So this is fourth phase water that's literally got a divine, it's the Merkabahs, basically. If you look at, I couldn't believe when I was doing research for one of my other books called Light Memory, An Alchemist's Guide to Waterbending.
Mhm.
I was like looking at water, like the structure of water, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And I saw it instantly. It was like, oh my God, H3O2 is the star tetrahedron,
Yeah.
the
Uh-huh.
Merkaba
Yeah.
connecting hands. It's like
Oh, beautiful.
online with divine. It's like,
So just to take this a step further, you remember the Emoto crystals? I mean, that was showing the structure based on the frequency, and it did look very what's the word? Sacred geometry.
Yes, absolutely. And oh gosh, that was what really hit me. That's when I knew this was real. That's why I knew quantum mechanics, physics. I mean, I really got it that day when I saw vibration change water. And how the molecular structure is so beautifully laid out and depends, on the frequency that it's receiving as well. Can you talk a little bit about water bending as well? I mean, we want to know how you're using this water. Like, we got a cup of water here. We're like,
oh yeah. Okay. So everyone just take a sip of your water.
Okay.
It's just like a benchmark. This blows people's mind every time I teach people how to do that. They're like, oh my God, why have I not been doing this? It seems so simple. As you pointed out, Masaru Emoto, would write love and gratitude, and it would be like, ooh, beautiful shapes. And then he'd write, I hate you, and it would be all distorted.
Yeah.
Right. So unconditional love is the mender of all things, and the whole, it's the defragmentor, right? So if we just look at water and we send it love and gratitude, something crazy happens instantly. And actually there was a study in Hassel, Germany. I love also, don't you love that all the tech is finally getting up to speed? Like science is finally going, oh
yes. And so much more is being published. I'm so excited.
Oh, I love it. It's no longer woo. I say out of woo into true.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, I've never heard that before. That's great.
What's up?
So anyway, this study, they found that just a regular heart that's not mindful or focused on gratitude or, locked in, 30 to 40 pulses of light per second. They're called photons of light. And you can't see them with the naked eye. Some people can. They say aura or whatever. But this light is just a pulsing per second, 30 to 40. So that's quite a bit. When you drop into your heart space and you think about something that you're so grateful for, even if it's just breathing and being on the planet, doesn't matter what it is, a loved one, guess how much it goes to? It's insane. 100,000.
Oh.
So this is like, I envision all of us, who join hands and do meditations together and project new timelines. We're like the Care Bear stare.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Like they're all lined up and they're like Care Bear stare. And they're like,
gosh, I don't even know what you're talking about. That's crazy.
So we're literally changing the morphic field of potential and collapsing timelines out of infinite to physical. And this is proven with cymatics. I mean, I get goosebumps every time I look at cymatics.
Yes, I love cymatics. Me too. That's what got me.
Like, blows your mind. It's like, and then you think about God, and he was like, the first thing in the Bible, whether you're religious or not, or if it's a parable, doesn't matter. Let there be light.
Yes.
So God spoke vibration.
Woo!
And light. Yes. And then what? Everything came through that cymatic pulse, that song of the universe that then rippled through, and then we get to be the ones to come into our beautiful bodies and choose, write our own stories and change them if we don't like them right now in this quantum moment. That's the reality that I want to help people remember is when you change your water, you change your field. And when you change your field, what you experience transforms, and it doesn't have to take 6 months. It can be 1 second. And so if we look at our water now and we just go, wow, holy shit, I'm so excited that I'm even here in this wild journey on this planet, and that water has been given to us as this bridge between the seen and unseen. It can take the shape of whatever whole it's holding it, but it's also the most powerful force in the universe. And it's everywhere. It is you, it is us. If you zoom out on our little blue planet, what is it?
Mostly water.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, you just go, wow, this is so amazing. I love you, water. Thank you so much. Now, what's happening in there is the photons, and I always like to imagine my heart space going past the water, so we're becoming one with it. What happens to the water, if you could see it on a molecular level, it starts going, it starts going into H3O2, which I say is getting online with divine. Because here's the wild thing that I 100% know is true and that is being validated through cutting edge science, because they're actually considering replacing microchips with water, because water doesn't just hold information inside, it holds it in the field around it. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, yes, yes. Which acknowledges that there's all this intelligence in the field. Yes, yes, it's science.
And so then this is even weirder and wilder and cooler, and thank God. The center point, right? You know how it's two opposing vortices, which is, you're a battery. We are water and salts, and we're opposing forces that are in a torus, right? Right? That's how your heart is pumping. It's not, it's not pumping, it's being pumped by the prana circulating around, right? And so same with the energy coming off of you. But if you actually could look at the wormhole of water, which is that source point, that one unified spark, it's connected to every other spark of light in the universe. So one drop of water connects to every other, it's a kasha. So that wormhole, you can pull things through because it's already connected. It's really wild. So this is how, if you need something, just put it on water. You can, and this is where I have to be really, but you don't need prescriptions, let's say, and I'm not telling anyone to get off of them. It's just it's a side effect. People have said, oh, I need more this, that, and the other. Why? And then they go find a code, they slap it on, and they find that they don't need that physical thing anymore because they've got the energetic equivalent, like homeopathy, right?
Wow.
So it's wild stuff, guys.
It is wild. I love it so much, though. Wow.
So let's drink the water, because you're going to taste the difference.
She said, drink the water.
Drink the water first. Okay, and then I will say it.
It's different.
It's so different.
No way.
Oh, it is. You want to try my water?
Sure, I'll try your water.
You can do this table trick at home or at a party. Literally, guys, get like 8 glasses of water and only bless one, and have someone taste them all. They 100% of the time they'll know which one is different.
That's exciting.
So funny. I went to a class and we did this with wine. And wine is mostly water. So of course it works the same way. Oh my gosh.
Maybe that's why God turned water into wine. No, I'm just kidding.
Right? Oh my goodness. It brings up so much, because one of the things that it brings up is you will come across people who are like, no way. And my question is, if they are in that belief system and can't actually even receive this information to ask the water, there is the opposite of actually having it. Does it make sense?
Exactly. As I said, and I say again, your truth is your truth, and it's true. So like, there's no point in arguing, like, are they right or wrong? The opposite of one truth is not false. It's just another truth. So for them, it's actually true.
Yeah. I gotcha. Two things can be true at once.
100%.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, we had this question on the chat, and I just thought maybe it would be interesting if you would answer it. And as we're talking about this, and we're talking about money and cha-ching too, I want you to kind of put all this into this question. But she asked, can you talk a little bit more about asking the whole universe beyond what we think we desire?
Yeah, so I always reframe my asking with "and anything else that would be even better."
Yeah,
like,
I do.
Because that's the fourth phase: ask, align, activate, right? And then allow. Allowing means you simply step out of your own way and you're delighted by the pieces of the puzzle that I call them breadcrumbs from the universe that arrive, and you savor each little morsel, and then you ask for something else. And the journey, you can never go wrong. You're always going to weave in whatever you're meant to if you're open. If you're like, no, he's got to be 6'5" finance.
I was glad that you brought it into that, because my friend was always doing that, and she was like, no, it's not on my list. And I was like, girlfriend, I was like, just be open. Boy, she met the love of her life. But sometimes the universe is like, I've got so much for you.
And you're not even, you don't even ask for it. It's probably what it's thinking.
Or you closed yourself down from receiving because you're not giving yourself saying, or something greater, right?
Right.
Whatever that's going to contribute more. Yeah.
And I think the other part of the answer to that question, which is probably another question that you'll have to ask your own self, is where in my life am I not letting things play out in ways that, let them, you can't manage other people's perceptions. All you have control of is your own choices and the way you feel. So let them say no, be a jerk, not align, do things that rub you the wrong way. That's okay. Let things not work. It's okay. Part of flow state is your ability to go with the flow and be resilient no matter what happens, come what may. And actually, I know this sounds counterintuitive, but when I'm planning for the best thing ever, I always plan for the worst part of it, not in a this is going to happen, but in a visualizing the shit hitting the fan and me still winning. You've got to plan for those things.
This like hero coming out of the fire, like,
exactly. Otherwise, you're never going to push through, because life is a series of disappointments until you aren't so disappointed. One of the biggest compliments I get when people go through any course that I have or read my books is they say, I don't have a bad day anymore. And it's not that they don't have bad days. It's that they don't internalize it and carry that burden. They let it go through them. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. We're all jiving here together, overlapping our energy, weaving around. Things do affect you. Not everything's going to go sunshine, butterflies. Oh, well, and right. So that ability to just take what you can from the event that that you're being guided through to even more. I mean, most traumatic events, you look back and you go, oh God, that sucked. But if it wasn't for that, then we can do that going forward. We can say in the now, okay, I may not understand why this is happening, but God is going to give me the grace to say everything's working for my good, even through this. And then you surrender the asking to allow for the universe to bring whatever it is. And it may not be what you want at all, but you can rest assured that it's the best thing for you. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening.
Yeah. Well, usually, if with clients and things, when they were trying to destroy some of these like limiting constructs that you speak about, there's two things I want to share. One is, if you're trying to be right around any of this, then you will always fight. So that is not what God, fate, whatever the universe would want for you. And when you can find these and pull them up, I will usually go out in the field as an infinite being and request that the entire universe destroy it, and just, throw a big lightning bomb around everything that's in the way of it. And
I like to unalign with that timeline. I just, if you've heard of the many Earths, because you don't need to destroy it. It's just not for you anymore. It's just not going to be in your vantage.
It's an energy transfer.
I love that.
I love it. Wow. Well, let's talk about the cha-ching frequency and really how that works. And let's I'll bring up your page in just a second, but is there something that I feel like I need to ask, there's something that we first need to know?
I mean, we've been dancing around it. It's really just reprogramming your energetic relationship with wealth. So
Okay.
you do that through your body, through your nervous system, and most importantly and uniquely through your water. I call it getting all of you on board with all of you. And
Yeah.
so we really work with deciphering what the storylines we're saying energetically that we don't want, and basically writing a new story, and then the universe shows you that truth. And so the cha-ching frequency, basically you just shift your relationship with money out of fear, out of guilt, out of hustle, into flow, resonance, confidence, where you view money as energy, and you receive in direct proportion to your value. And so this becomes, it's not about the money, but it's about the money, because if you only receive based on your value, think about the person you're going to have to be and the value you have to the planet to reach your goals. And so that becomes the goal. It's not the money. It's, oh my God, I'm going to become this person and be doing all of this. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah. I feel the energy of that for sure. The difference of that too.
Yeah. Well, let's bring up the page and let's talk about this, because I love where you're going with this work. I mean, this is just, it's just so different than what a lot of people talk about. And it really resonates too.
It does.
So
like, yeah, it does. Like, that's all I'm contributing, but that's how I feel. I feel like this is really different work. Yeah.
I mean, it's so interesting, money, it's like you even just say the word and you can feel that there's contraction on the line, right?
Yep.
Money, 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 money.
So there's really 4 pieces to this beautiful series, and it's over 6 hours of coaching with me, 4 90-minute sessions, and then lots of journaling, guides, activations. I teach you how to pull any code for any concern or desire. So it doesn't have to be money related, but we're honed in on that. The first class, we really work on the money mind matrix, right? What are these inherited scripts that I'm telling myself, where it's like, no, that's not jiving. So we crack those stories open and we rewrite them, essentially. And then class 2, we really want to dive into the reality that you don't sell anything yourself. Some people aren't coaches, but most people are. You don't have to be a coach to take this course, but it's a good framer to show that we don't sell with our words, we sell with our frequency. And those wounds, our guilt around, our fears, that's what we're feeling from people when people say, the vibe or whatever. And so in class 2, we start taking a loving look and using water activation to fine tune the signal of our future success ahead of the curve. Like, the best memory is already fulfilled. So it's not like somewhere out there past our comfort zone. It's like, no, this is already a thing. In fact, that's how I manifested my dream man, my soulmate. I always love telling this story. And actually I've been told by some trolls, bullshit. I'm like, well, it happened, so I don't know what you want to say. But I manifested my dream man on eHarmony. I had been on there for a year and a half. No. And then I was like, what am I doing? I need to do a water activation. And so I did. I visualized. Suddenly I was on this boat. It was very large. I didn't know where we were, but there were islands. It was really exotic, and there was turquoise water, and he was behind me, and I was at the front of the boat, which I now know is the bow. Anyway, didn't know who he was, didn't care, didn't look. It was just like, wow, we are just a match, right? And so it was already a wish fulfilled as a memory, and then I drank the water. I met him 24 hours later, and I still didn't know that he was a captain of luxury yachts. And I ended up.
I love this so much.
With him, and then he bought his own beautiful catamaran, and so we have he has a charter business in St. Thomas and the British Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
The memory, and then I'll never forget the day I was on the bow and he comes up and around, and I was like, oh my God, deja vu.
Exciting. I love this
Oh
so
my
much.
goodness,
So-
I love it so
So
much.
that's what we do in class too, is
So you're saying this is based on money, but you can do this in any area of your life.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's sort of like another window. If you've ever heard someone say how you do one thing is how you do everything,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
fill in the landscape
The
of,
thing.
I want more wealth, I want better relationships, I want better health, it's all the same. We're talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
And then in class 3, I just want to help people cut through the overwhelm and the mystery of pricing, packaging, aligning with your dream clients. And that's code word for your dream experience. Doesn't have to be clients. Again,
Yeah, I get that.
getting
Yeah.
rid of the distortion, really coming into your worth, to say, okay, I'm going to reverse engineer my goal and I'm going to become that ahead. But there's real tools that need to be put into action if you're going to achieve. Class 3 is where we're like, okay, out of the dreamland and let's get a plan.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then class 4, we work through nervous system. It's really about getting out of to me, by me, into through me, and then dipping our feet into as me, and learning to stay there. Knowing that we can let the shit hit the fan. I always love to say dukkha happens. Dukkha means suffering. And suffering, you only suffer when you wish for something to be other than it is. So it doesn't mean you have to like what's happening, but radical acceptance. That's why in the vibration scale, contentment and higher is expanding, discontentment and lower is suffering. So if we can just go, oh, all right, I don't have to like it, but if I can come to this radical acceptance of what is without being attached to the drama and the story, emotionally, mentally, you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you aren't. And so let those flow through, and then as the sovereign creator of your bandwidth, choose right now and right now and right now. And so class 4, we really anchor it all into the nervous system so that we can get to this place of rest, digest, expansion, and we aren't in fight, flight, frozen anymore. And when we are, we know what to do. So a lot of somatic breath work. We tone our vagus nerve. We do some things with water, of course. And that's the landscape, the gist of it.
Very, very fun. I put the link in the chat, and I just think that there's sometimes you come across programs that can change your life in a lot of different ways. So if you're called to this, go ahead and grab that link. If you're looking on YouTube, it's in the caption. If you are looking at the newsletter, there is a button for it.
And I want to also mention that I've been told by my students that this course is worth thousands.
I believe you.
And I know to be true, but I do the one-to-many approach. So don't worry about me. I'm getting my cha-ching. But I will say the $1,000, the $197 that your group will invest in is the lowest the class is anywhere. So you can't get it for that. It's $803 off, just FYI.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much.
So much.
It feels juicy. It really, really does. In fact, somebody put that on the chat too. They're like truly juicy stuff. I mean, just the conversation here with you. I know there is something that is just beyond dynamic about all of this and how you laid it out for us, and the use of water. I just haven't seen that in this way. It's very exciting. And I also know that science supports all of this now. So it's not just us, love the word placebo, but it's not just us, using that as a naughty thing. Oh, it's just a placebo. No, this is real alchemist magic here that we're working with. Yay.
Yeah. Wow. Joe put on the chat, and it just kind of hit me in a really awareness kind of way. I'm kind of wondering how it'll hit you. But one of the questions he asked is, what is the currency of the universe? And it is kind of this vibe and this watery flow when you play with it. It's like even beyond, the space is very much holds the same frequency
Well,
as an actual physical water.
yeah, because
It's like
if
a
you
fluid.
if you look at the double slit theory in quantum physics, you're still going to get photons that act as waveform.
Yep.
Waveform is
Right.
water. Like when you see it,
Yep.
they have that
I
same
get it.
property
I
when
get
it's
it.
not being observed and we're not collapsing it down to
Mhm.
something that's matter. So golly.
I mean, this really brings in the embodiment piece that a lot of people are missing, and
I like that too.
I love the practice of just, oh, wow, here's a cup of water. I mean, how many times did the Ayurvedic teachers say, pray upon your food?
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, and then I just rolled my eyes for so many years,
I can see you doing.
right? I'm like, why? Just let me eat. And my father was a minister, so it's like we'd all hold hands and we have to wait for this dynamic prayer. I'm a teenager and I am like, I bless this food. Let's eat.
That's a good point. When you're
It is a good
blessing the
point.
food, you're blessing the water molecules.
Yes.
That's what's holding it.
I know.
Guys, you can do
It's like
this.
the whole thing, and then it comes inside, literally, physically inside you.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, this is really life-changing
So before we end, I
perspectives.
would love to do a water blessing.
Let's
Yes.
do it.
Grab your water and
I already
you
drank
can
mine,
speak
but
to
I
your
can
water
do it
when
on
we
my morning shake.
Yes,
Blueberries.
and you can say
Got
anything
water in there.
that you want. Just reflect, you don't even have to have the answers. You can ask questions and the water is going to give that. But if you want to say I am safe to receive, but you don't feel safe to receive, how am I so safe to receive? Right? The answers will come to you through the day. I trust that money is a mirror and that I'm ready to reflect abundance. Like most of all, if you don't believe it, the water does, because the water is everywhere. It's already experiencing everything. And it's not separate. So it is a reality for the water. So keep that in mind. This water carries the frequency of wealth and abundance to my cells. And that it doesn't even have to be wealth and abundance. It can be health, right? It can be unconditional love. It can be whatever it is. And then you just sip that frequency. And in fact, do it in the morning, do it in the afternoon, do it in the evening. Do it, whenever you think about it. But especially in times of fight, flight, frozen, breath work is so good because it centers you and calms you down. But also just say, water. I know you may not want to say this out loud because people will be like, you're crazy, but it works. Just stare at your water and ask for the answers to come. Ask for the support you need. Pull a code, right? Pull an assisting frequency. What assisting frequency do I need for highest good that will fill in the blank? And that's how the codes work. And it's mind-boggling, the intricate nature of the response. You read about what you pulled and you go, oh my God. And that's how I teach you how to do that in the class. You're like, the number one thing people say when they pull a code for the first time is you can't make this shit up. You can't.
So much. Yes.
Well, it's so interesting how every almost conversation this year leads into the next.
Yeah.
The amount of we had a sound healer on once that was talking about the frequency of water and what sound does to water. And then you come on and then give us this whole different perspective around it. Heck, I'm thinking if even if people don't believe it, but they will try it and just take a moment to bless things and ask for things and ask questions about things and get really curious, I think that itty bitty tiny piece of this conversation changes lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
in a huge way.
I know we're running out of time, but I want to loop in one last.
We're good. It's fun.
The neuroscience that I'm remembering and that I'm learning and that I'm studying and expanding on. There's something really poetic about the law of attraction and very scientific in terms of where and what's happening. and I'll just share with you what it is. And so next time, if you don't believe in the law of attraction or some sort of cosmic whatever, you probably aren't listening to this. But if that's you and you're skeptical and you're like, I don't know about this water thing, just know that this is rooted in actual sturdy science in terms of the RAS, which is called your reticular activating system. This is like the bouncer of your brain. We've got literally 100 million bits of data coming at us every second.
Yeah.
We only have the bandwidth for 30 to 40 conscious perception. The rest is on the default. And so the RAS is basically, I look at it as like hashtagging what's important. Like, if you want this, you need to make it part of your priority and your mapping. And then you'll hear it. You'll have the bandwidth. It's why people see angel numbers. If they see 22 and they keep seeing it, it's because their reticular activating system is now so locked in on that vibration. They can sense it. But if you don't say what's important, you're going to walk by your soulmate. You're going to walk by that business opportunity. You're going to walk by that great idea, right? So,
I mean, how many times does somebody say something to you and you don't actually, it doesn't land, you don't actually even hear it, and then it's on a recording or something, and 3 years later you go by and you hear it and your mind is blown.
Right.
And you're like, this is exactly for me at the exact time where I'm ready to shift or change something.
When the student is ready, the teacher appears. But that's reticular activating system.
There you go.
There's no magic behind it. It's just you've deemed it as a priority and the universe is showing it to you. And that's why the law of attraction does work. And that's how to work with it. Get with your bouncer, get with your body, get with your water, and tell it what you want. You don't have to have the answers. Be open to, oh, my dog's barking. Be open to more, even better than before. Take notice of and celebrate those wins. Give yourself that dopamine hit saying, yep, I'm on the right path. I'm on the right path. It's unfolding. It's unfolding. And then luck is, preparedness and opportunity. You got to prepare first. And then when it happens, people will be like, they're so blessed. Everything just works. It can happen to anyone when you're in flow.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so funny. Sometimes and maybe I used to think that when I did these calls, like people just came in just for that feel good feeling. And maybe it was that way because that was more what I was about. I wanted to have that feel good feeling. And now it seems like we're creating a community and a group where people are like, I'm here to play. I will do this every single day. It's time to really create change. My goodness, because I'm kind of like every single day I'm doing this all day long because I'm in so much in love with myself and my future self, right? It's almost like, how can I love on myself even more today is some of the energies that I'm currently bringing in, right? I can do that with my water now or anything that I'm drinking that has water in it, right? And it's just, this is fabulous. I feel like you can do this all day. Drink half a gallon of water every day and you just keep taking in.
And that's the other thing.
It's like that fast.
Physically, if you drink blessed water, you need less water because blessed water is smaller molecularly. And so it hydrates your body in deeper ways.
I love that.
Where you won't have to drink, most people, they drink water and they're just sort of bathing their organs they're not absorbing it. But, you will release toxins, your energy will improve, your outlook, your hormones will balance, like all these medical things that I can't talk about. I'm not making any claims, but it's life-changing physically drinking this water, not just mentally and emotionally. But it's amazing. What a blessing. Right. We've forgotten that we even have access to this.
Love it.
And here's the other catch. Having a human body, we have to drink water.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, My sister was hospitalized for dehydration
So
because she
was my
wasn't
grandma. And so
drinking any
now,
water.
right. So now I have to get bags of fluid, but I saw how she had an immediate split. It was like she was on drugs before. And then as soon as we got her bag of
Yeah.
fluids, her color came back. She was
Dramatic.
coherent again. It
Yep.
was, so I was like, oh, okay. First of all, I'm drinking tons of water. Next, I'm blessing my water and bringing in
Yeah.
this more loving and contributive vibes that the universe wants to supply us with anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for this enlightening conversation. It's
Any parting
absolutely
words for us today?
incredible.
I know it sounds cliche, but you're already whole. So the distortions that are preventing you from realizing your wholeness is the work. Because you don't have to be someone you aren't, you're already that. You don't have to find wealth, you're already wealthy.
Yes.
Just marinate in it already happening. It's already here. I want this, but I'm here. Why do you want that? Because I'll feel different. Well, just feel different now. Learn how to regulate your nervous system, use water, affirm, and then really surround yourself with people, places, and things that also, come into this network more and find your tribe and really vibe with them and let everyone else, it doesn't matter. It's not a thing. Like, don't get so offended when people don't agree with. There's nothing to convince. It's their truth. You have your truth. Celebrate your truth, your meaning, and use that to collapse timelines. Your life is going to change dramatically. The only reason you don't get where you want to go is because you don't take the steps. So let's just, every sip, let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh well, sipping and moving forward.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
What a beautiful call.
I know. It's so
chat.
enlightening.
It's been, thank you, Holly. Very, very enlightening call and affirming. Thank you. Beautiful call, Lianka, Jenith, Holly. This is such a difference. I'm doing it. Just being in her energy creates 1,000% change. This resonates and makes so much sense as to why I'm not as hungry as I used to be. I guess blessing their water. All of my meals are being blessed. I love this. My guides recently told me about needing less if blessed. Ooh. I love this call. Love this. So thank you. Thank you everyone for participating. This has been amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
My pleasure. It was so my pleasure. I love being with people like you and people that get it and that maybe they don't even get it yet, but they know they want to.
Yes.
It's sort of like, wow, it's so exhilarating being any kind of bridge to deeper exploration. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll have to have you back with a different conversation.
Yeah.
I feel like we can go hundreds of directions from here.
Totally.
All right.
Just a couple announcements, everyone.
Like and subscribe.
It's hard to change the world whenever we beat the algorithm or flow with it.
All right, go for it.
Sure. Next week, we have a really packed week for you. And we have on Tuesday, let's see if my memory serves me correctly, we have Kimberly Trefez. She's coming to talk about spell breaking instead of spell binding, right? The programming that we've had has been creating casting spells on us. And so we're going to talk about using some of that somatic and breath work just to open. And if you remember from the last time that she came on the show, she did some of this work with me and I was in tears, like they just sort of flowing. She started laughing at me because I guess I just had stuff I don't even know about. But it was around money and it was around some of the paradigms that I had with my family and how no one had anything, and a lot of poverty that my lineage had. I mean, I was flowing because of, some of the things and feelings that I was pulling in from that lineage. And so it was giving me a really great way of just spell breaking. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. And then also on Thursday, another great show, we have Danielle Hoffman. She's coming on. Yeah. So if you know a little bit about Danielle.
This girl, back almost, I think she started working with me as a client in 2013. And we worked together for about 3 years. And in one of our one-on-one sessions, talk about resistance, right? Fighting resistance. I finally said, you say this in every session, you have to do this. It was, an idea for, she channels Toph.
Yeah.
And I was like, this, you have to do this. And then she's like, like a little puppy, like, okay, and then next thing I know, she comes out with like this masterpiece
Oh yeah.
of a summit. It was a summit first for channeling, and then now, I mean, she's just thriving, thriving, thriving. Her whole life has changed. And the last time I talked with her, she's just like so busy and can't even like, what a session anymore. I'm like, but it's so fun to watch people that feel really stuck and really small and don't think they can and doubt themselves. And you work with them and then you watch them exceed you is what it was for a while there. I mean, I felt like, my God, how fast is this girl going?
Yeah, so she right now, she had her publisher send us Mary.
Yeah.
So they're not Mary Magdalene, it's called the Magdalens. And it's a new energy that kind of started coming through. And she still works with Toth, and it's Mary Magdalene, the other Magdalens, the energy of mass ascended masters, and they put together this card, this deck of cards plus a book. And I was reading the book. I gave it to my mom at first and to take a look, and I was like, yeah, the publisher wants us to review this for the interview. My mom comes back, she's like, I'm gonna order some for my house in California because I'm gonna make some spreads for the altar. I mean, she came back motivated.
They are gorgeous.
Yeah, they are gorgeous. And they're really unlike any other oracle. They're not straight up oracle cards.
Right.
They are vertices for birthing some of these creations that we're all birthright to come to fruition. So basically they're wombs. They create a womb and give the energy of birthing these into life. And I thought, wow. I mean, the book is fascinating, definitely divinely channeled. It was all exciting. And so it was funny because my mom was like, oh yeah, no, I mean, I gave it to her for like a couple, she was just there a couple hours, came back as a different person. I was like, what? She goes, oh yeah, I'm gonna do one for some, getting in shape and feeling better, and I'm doing another one for this. And I was like, girl, let's go. She goes, yeah, we're gonna do it together.
Lianca's like, I haven't even looked at the cards yet.
Truth, right? So I was like, let me go ahead and start. My mom's gonna do this with me, and let me start reading this. And I could not put that book down. It's really, really interesting work. Super excited to see her and how she's transformed.
Oh my goodness. I just have admired her. And then when I watched her really take action on her life in the way that she did, it's inspiring. So we have her coming. Mystique, if you are a member, I did send out the new upgrade.
Yay!
We now have
so
a
excited.
Mystique Visioneer, which is very much about, working on yourself every single day.
Yes.
Yeah. And instead of just like meeting us once a month. So you have a choice now. Your current membership doesn't change. You can still meet us in that grand mastermind once a month.
Yes.
But there is now another option if you wish to choose it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I think I'm personally having a lot of fun.
You were saying
making tasks every single day and getting my streaks in. I just think it's kind of fun.
It is fun, and it changes things. Here's the real thing. The real thing that is yes, it's great to get the little streak and the gamification, but really what you're doing is what we talked about on this call a little bit.
Yeah.
You're doing it every single day. You're creating, that RAS, right? You're hashtagging for the things that you most want to have come to fruition and actualize. So super cool.
I know. It's great. All right. That's it for today. Meet us
on Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like, Tuesday or Thursday?
She's doing what I was doing. Tuesday for a call with Kimberly, and we're excited. Also want to remind you that a portion of proceeds always go back. We believe in that giving back to Rising Up. Rising Up was started by students who are refurbishing laptops and devices to give to other students in need for education and wellness. And then also want to remind you to just go ahead and if you're not getting any of our information, to go ahead and sign up to get our the free gifts, the information, all of the stuff that we put out here, other free gifts from the speakers. You can do that at www.houthustle.com. And that's what we got. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.